right, welcome to the Oasis 13 podcast. It is your host, Minnie Mani, and I have the host of Everybody Eats Show podcast of Bensky and Edem. All right.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have them introduce themselves, tell us what they want to know, what they want us to know, and then we're gonna get into the conversation. So y'all go ahead.
All right, awesome. So first off, I can go first. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you very much for having us on the show. My name is Bensky, one of the hosts and founders of Everybody Eat Show. Born and raised in New York. Been in 757 area. Been in Norfolk for about past 2 years. Started the podcast not too long after I moved down. Honestly, our goal was we were part of a finance club while we were in school. So I had a huge passion for doing that, teaching, helping the students and all that. So pretty much after you graduate, it was what's the best way to continue doing that for free? I was podcast.
Right.
So that's pretty much how we started, and we've been rocking ever since. So
cool.
So hey everybody, my name's Edem. Similar to Bensky, born and raised in New York. We actually met in high school, became friends in college, and similar story in the sense we both joined our business club in college. Been the 757 for a year and a month. Bensky and I have been really great friends for the last 5-6 years. So he told me he was starting up this podcast, and I said, all right, he asked for a hand, and I couldn't say no. So we've been doing this for, what are we at? 2 years now?
2 years.
2 years. So it's been a fun time.
Yeah, keep on going. So we have opportunities to meet people like you. So it's lit.
Yeah, that's a cool story. I like that. I'm so mad that my question that I was thinking already disappeared from me. Okay, so let's just start with how y'all came up with Everybody Eats name.
I came. I still have a note in my phone with all a bunch of different names that I was thinking about, and I don't remember exactly how we came to the conclusion, but something that
I know we wanted something that represented the fact that we were sharing, trying to share knowledge at all levels, not just
everybody gets the love.
Yeah. Exactly. Stuff we were privy to. I know stuff we grew up, like we said in our, we were a part of the business clubs in our college. We went to a lot of conventions, events, and, we're exposed to a lot of things. And even, within our own interests, we looked this stuff up. So we decided, I remember brainstorming with Betsy, we were trying to figure out a way to just show that, I think did we have the tagline at that point? We just didn't have a name, chopping it up with the best professionals.
That came after.
All right. So I do know we were just sitting down and just trying to jot down different names. And I don't remember the other names, but Everybody Eats, that one just really stuck out. And we're it's kind of there's I don't know if we can curse on this, but
no, you're good. Yeah.
There's everybody says, all my niggas get some, right? So it's kind of there's the business professional way of maybe saying it, everybody
right.
eats.
One of the things we used to say is if I eat, we all eat. Yeah. So that's that's kind of where it came from, I guess that was a lot of people would say that a lot back then. It was if I eat, we all eat, right? And that really represented that. So it's if I eat, we all eat, everybody eats. And I was everybody eats podcast, then it was Everybody Eats Show, because it's more than just a podcast, So
right. Okay. Yeah. My bad.
No, you're good. But it's a podcast is how we like to think about it is podcasting is just one thing that we do. But if you incorporate the social media, if you incorporate going to in-person events, it's more of not just a podcast, it's a little bit bigger. It's a show, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a podcast and plus conversation, all that. So not to be correcting, but that's just the
just to clarify.
To clarify the thought process, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I appreciate y'all. Let me wait.
You're good.
Okay. I appreciate y'all's story. I really like that. Bensky, you were the one who originally came up with the idea, and then, since y'all were friends, you just brought your friend in it, and then also how y'all are both here and came to Virginia, together. That's also dope. Welcome to Virginia. I hope it's been treating you good. But yeah, and then when I saw your name, I was like, yo, I like that. I like that everybody eats, because like y'all said, I mean, what I hope most people who have podcasts or share any type of information online or content creator, whatever, I hope that they want to do it to share things that they have learned, and not from like an ego place, but we know that's not the truth. But anyways, so when I saw that, I was like, yo, I like that. I like that. So yeah, so thank you for explaining y'all's story. And then y'all also stated how y'all were interested in finance, because I did want to know, like, why do y'all care so much? I mean, it's an important thing, but I wanted to know, like, why y'all cared so much specifically about finance, and okay, so since we're going into that, what do y'all see the purpose of money is? What is the purpose of money, and why is it so important for us to study finance?
Yeah, so personally for me, growing up, to start with, why I studied accounting. It's not specifically finance, but accounting, same realm. I was always good with numbers growing up. I was told, oh, you're like your grandfather, you're like your grandfather. He also happened to be an accountant, and then I just went to college, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a shot. I can say I probably wouldn't have done anything else, maybe besides something in like the liberal arts, but I did like maybe not so much the classes, but the knowledge and the community within the finance world. I really enjoyed just being able to learn how to properly dress up, network, build a connection, a group of people, and learn how to just talk one-on-one with folks, present myself. You learn stuff like an elevator pitch, which is, your 60-second introduction,
Right.
painting yourself in the best light possible. It was just a lot of knowledge. And growing up, I never experienced that. I'm first generation American. My family didn't know anything about stocks, investing, all that other stuff. That, you come to America, they teach you how to spend your money and work for your money, but not really, save and invest and compile it. So I think realizing that came more along the way. Money, in and of itself, it's just, it's just a way to exchange goods and services. In, how I see it, they start off with bartering, then they have slowly evolved, and then the United States imposed the it wasn't the gold standard, but it was the dollar standard before. It was gold standard, then the United States got it to the dollar standard, and now we have all these, different currency exchanges, X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, it's just, it's what we use to pay for and exchange goods and services. So one thing I think people should really understand is money isn't, or I guess finance isn't just for those who studied it. So when I talk about learning what to do with my money, and all the workshops and everything, all the development I went to, it's not just solely for business folk. You can be a biology major or a liberal arts major and join one of these business clubs, whether you have them, whether if you do or don't have them in your college. But even then, during the pandemic, everybody was home.
Everybody deals with money, so yeah.
Exactly. But people don't think about it that way, because everybody likes to, when they I think a lot of people like to shy away when they hear about something new or it sounds really complicated. But it's really not that hard. You just need to sit down and put the time into it.
Have discipline.
If you think about everything else you've done in your life, cooking, riding a bike, learning how to use a new TV game, learning a new game, or just putting on makeup, something as simple. You have to read, watch
Right.
somebody else do it, make your
Mhm.
mistakes, and mistakes with money are, you're not going to make a lot if you're serious. But
Yeah.
it's not just for people in the finance world. Let me
Right.
circle back, but it's not just for people in the finance world. You can take your time, and like I was getting my earlier point, I was during the pandemic, a lot of this stuff just really fell into my lap. I had a lot of time, learned a lot through YouTube,
Mhm.
and yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I guess it's like somewhat similar. Like I didn't originally want to study finance. I wanted to do like engineering.
Mhm.
And then like that was slow. I did physics and it was slow for that. So then like I kind of wanted to get into like the social sciences. So I went to economics. I didn't like in terms of the major, I didn't like it at all, to be honest. I'm not that great with numbers, to be perfectly honest. Like math isn't
Mhm.
my thing. But it was the networking and the in-person interactions that got me, right? So like I like to socialize, I like to talk. So it was like going to the conferences, professional development, that stuff is what really stuck to me. The financial literacy part, I was blessed. Like my dad like really instilled that as a kid, so it was kind of part of me, but not something I really focused on. Once I was going through college, getting involved in the business club, going to the conferences, helping out in school, then it became
Mhm.
like, shoot, like this became me. And I couldn't change my major at that point. It was too late. So it was like, that was already what I was part of.
Mhm.
So then, that's kind of where the passion stemmed from. And then, somebody was saying like financial literacy, in
That's
school,
the word I was looking for.
yeah, like in school, a lot of like the business clubs and stuff was only like a lot of the events and business events were focused just towards the business students. And it was like, yo, like everyone needs to know how to write an interview, like
Right.
write a resume. Everyone needs to know how to interview. Doesn't matter what your major is.
Right.
So that's kind of again, reason we started the podcast. I was like, yo, I want this to be for everybody, not just business students.
Mhm.
But financial literacy, like you said, that's something that everyone needs to know. Everyone needs to know how to save. Everyone needs to know how to budget. Everyone needs to know how to invest. Everyone needs to know like real estate isn't just for only like certain people. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Whether that's social class, race, gender, like it's 2021. We all have internet. We all have this information. Yes, like some people, it's maybe some people it's easier. It's not,
But
maybe a little hard to learn, but
something
like
we all
it's
deal
all we
with
all have.
every
It's
day.
something we deal with
Right.
every day, and we all have access to. So it was like, all right, let's make this accessible and let's make this like understandable, comparable for people to understand in like layman terms. Like let it people understand it so they can apply it. So that's kind of like
Right.
why we into finance, at least yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, there's not. It's almost like one of those things where you kind of have to have like a knack for it. There's not a lot of people who get excited with numbers, like just simply numbers. It's not a lot of people, who get excited with that, but it's a practical sense. Like we all have to deal with it. So, you might not get excited just dealing with the numbers, but that's just a part of you'll get excited when you see more money in your bank, or you'll get
Right.
excited when you see stuff adding up or making passive income from things that you didn't even know or weren't aware of. So from the episodes that y'all have already had, what tell me like something y'all learned and you were able to apply in your life that was like very helpful, and you were like, damn, I'm so glad that such and such said that, or I was able to use that.
A lot of episodes, yo.
Yeah, wheels spinning in my head right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of episodes.
You don't have to say which episode, just
Yeah,
say what you learned
what we
and how you
learned.
applied it.
What's sticking to me, yesterday we was talking about systems. The other
Mhm.
day we was talking about systems, implementing systems, getting better at them, and that's an episode we did with brand resumes. Um, and he was like, "Yo, like, if unless you have systems in your business, then you're running a hobby." And that joint stuck, especially like thinking about it right now. That joint stuck because
Systems like what?
systems as in systems for your business when it comes to managing your finance, systems for when it comes to posting on social media, systems when it comes to organizing, like if you have a landing page and you're trying to sell a product, you know what I'm saying, like you need to have certain, like whether it's like funnels, websites, a system where it's like, all right, file come to me, I send it to that person, and then it goes there, you know what I'm saying. So setting those up, it's not easy, Sometimes, you're trying to do everything yourself, like it's not really going to be effective. But when you got like a system in place, some people to go to, I got a file, I know I send it to Edem, he edits it, he sends it back to me, I post it, boom, that's a system. You know what I'm saying? So like having those set in place, it makes you're running your business way easier. But again, it's not easy. Something you got to build, you got to get used to, and you got to get a rhythm for. But unless you have that, you're gonna be struggling. You're gonna be struggling in your business.
Yeah.
So for me, sorry, like just to segue straight into it. For me, what sticks out the most to me is when we did that pop-up and we asked every business owner there, what's one thing you would recommend to somebody in your shoes before you started your business? And probably interviewed maybe like 11 of them said, do your research. So that really stuck out to me, come prepared, do your research. That goes, with all things, honestly. And that's the most, if I were to think about almost every guest we've had, they've done their research and gotten their exposure in some way in that field they were doing before they really, started running with it. So do your research.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking out more of you guys' episodes because I am like in my first year of being, I guess you could say, a full-time business owner, and I did my research, right? But it's still a lot to learn, and like but that's with everything, and then that's just with everything. So you just kind of have to take it, as it goes. But okay, so this is kind of to merge our podcast together because I know y'all focus on the practical and the money and finance, which is very helpful, but my podcast is more focused on all around health, like emotional, physical, spiritual, all of that, right? And of course finance, because we live in the real world. So do you guys think that money has any spiritual significance?
I would say, does money have spiritual significance? I would say yes. I would say yes, right? Whatever religion you are, but I'm Christian. In the Bible, we talk about tithing, right? The idea of giving back. One, that's in the Bible, right? Giving back your 10%. I feel like it's not just a money thing in that term, but it's also like, I'm blessed. I know I'm blessed. I'm alive. I'm healthy. Right. I have the ability to do this podcast. I have the ability to, travel with friends and family. I have a lot of opportunities. What's giving back 10% of what I have? That's nothing. Compared to everything I have, that's nothing. So there's the giving back aspect. And then there's the faith aspect of giving your money, because a lot of people we love our money. We're not going to just give it anyway, right? Give it away. So the faith aspect of spending your money on a podcast, right? For what? Like, you have to have faith in that vision. You have to have, like I pray every day, like, yo, let this podcast be a blessing. Let it help me. Let me make sure I'm not wasting my money, wasting my time, because realistically, it's time and money spent. So you have to have some, at least, I can speak for myself. You have to have some sort of faith, to be like, yo, like, I'm spending this money towards something good, and like I have faith that this is going to work out, so I would say yes. And then one last thing, we recently had a podcast with a boy Raj, right? And he was talking about when you spend money and you give money to someone, you're giving your time.
I almost said that for the answer to the last question, but yeah,
the quality of your time, right?
Quantifying your time, yeah,
exactly, right? So I feel like
effort, you're quantifying the money. Is it your
the money kind of like
yeah, for example, the money access. So it's like, yo, if I make $15 an hour and I give $30 to a cause, or to church, I just gave the Lord 2 hours of my time.
An equivalent of 2 hours of your working time. That's the time that you met, right?
I think that's a great way to think about it. Yeah.
Right. So, and if you're going to be giving your money towards a cause, giving back, to your church, if you're going to be giving or just simply believing in an idea that it's going to go forth, I think, yeah, I would say that's where money has a spiritual sense.
Now, I disagree.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I understand where you're going with the religious analogy and comparison. I wasn't thinking that way, but I guess I do agree to the point where, you know, when you give 10% of what you own back, that is a great way of showing thanks while you're alive and everything, you know, while you're continuing being blessed and all that. But I don't think money holds any significance at all. Besides it, because money is, if you really think about it, money or whatever the currency is so, I guess, the fluid, not in the financial sense, but the word that's always changing. It's always like, you know, we can go from, you know, dollars to berries tomorrow, you know. So all right, now I gotta give, you know, 10% of my earnings in berries, you know. So I think money itself is so, you know, fluid and changing. It doesn't hold any significance. It can't hold any significance because it's always it. And even if you think about how money comes and goes, it comes and goes so quick, so it really can't hold any significance. It's only when we like, yeah, I mean, society now, money means so much, quote unquote. You know, everybody says more money, more problems. Everybody wants to be rich, you know, money, right? At the end of the day in society, but it really holds no significance, because, you know, you think of how many famous people off themselves because, you know, whatever, money didn't buy their happiness, money didn't help whatever, it didn't, you know, buy away the demons or whatever they're facing. So outside of, like, I guess, you know, especially giving back, yeah, I strongly agree there in terms of giving back, but outside of that, money, currency, whatever you want to call it, has no real significance. So I like the notion of burying yourself with all your riches and treasures and that it'll come up with you. No, bro. No, that's not true. It's not true. You know, so I think that's just, you know, that's a human thing we added to it to make, you know, death or whatever seem more enticing. Or not enticing, sorry. Less scary. Yeah. You know, sprinkle a little whatever on it. So yeah, not enticing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's interesting word. Okay. But y'all are, I mean, basically y'all are both saying the same thing, you know, like, so I agree with both of y'all. Like, it has the meaning that it has is what you give it. So if you are using it in a faith sense, or if you're using it to pass on whatever energy or whatever, then that's the significance that you've given it. And if we didn't give it that significance, then it wouldn't have that significance, you know? And so so what you were kind of saying, Edem, kind of goes into what I was going to go into later, but since you brought it up, we're going to go into it now. So I was going to ask, is money basically a mental construct? Like, are all of these material things basically a mental construct? Because you can find some homeless people on the street who are like happier than, you know, people who have a lot of money. So yeah, and then if we go again, so everything, if you go to certain tribes or whatever, do they use money on the everyday, but like, do they actually need it? But no, they good, you know? So like, I don't know.
I think to like elaborate, I mean, not elaborate, but just to add, yeah, I do agree. It is all materialistic, you know, at the end of the day. I guess it's more of how the system's built, in the sense, I guess you need the way our society per se, like the capitalist society, or even most societies in America, they use money as a way to, I think it's the most efficient measure of of being able to buy and receive goods and everything. So you think about everything you're sitting on and everything you have. Realistically, like someone bought that with money or they made it themselves, but you can't, it's really hard to do. It's easier with money, so money, we're at the point in our lives, I think money makes everything so much easier. Like it's hard to, it is very materialistic.
I mean, money or just that exchange, like just having that exchange, like money.
I guess that I'm using money. All right, so maybe I should, that I guess that exchange, needing to exchange one good or service for another, the idea of that, I guess, using that as a way to make things, I guess, a bit more fair is kind of makes it hard to not to live without it, is what I'm trying to say. So you can't really have, the painting you have behind you. You can't have, your glasses, table, laptop, all that without being a part of that system, the buying and then the buying and selling, and or not buying and selling, but the trading, I'm imagining a little circle diagram in my head, but you can't really get what you need without participating in that system. So yes, it's all very materialistic. I'm sure there's a lot of homeless people, or even tribes in different parts of the world, or maybe, we call them third world countries, but other parts of the world that that would probably be happy with, a little pad you put on the floor to make it not be as hard when you sleep. But yeah, I know I'm sure there are people out there happy with a lot less. But the life I was born into personally, and society I'm in, like, I'm not one of those people, and it is really hard to get along without partaking in that system.
Okay.
I don't know if I answered your question, but
no, yeah. I mean, it wasn't really a question. I was just like,
oh yeah, okay. Yeah. And I don't know if that added, but yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of, shake y'all up. But so if we were financially stable, like as a community, like what do y'all see as we begin to learn more about finance and become more financially stable? What do y'all see for us as a whole, as a community, when everybody start eating? What do y'all see?
Oh my goodness, this is what we see, right? we finally see what true independence and freedom looks like, right? You about me going to rant, but it is hard to be. We're gonna be here for a while, yo. It's hard to be independent as a community, to be self-sufficient as a community, to progress as a community, if we are depending for either other people's approval, other people's financing, other people's education to help us, especially in 2021 when we have access to information and the internet. Granted, it's not easy, but in order to progress as a society, the easiest way and probably the most effective way is economically. We know that. That's not up for debate. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a community, you have to produce your own. You have to have ownership.
Talk about group economics a lot.
Group economics, ownership, like generational wealth. All those trigger words that people love to say. Like, it's not just cute things to put on Instagram. It's actual real life strategies for wealth and power and control over your own life. Not necessarily power, control, greed, like mastermind type joint, but you know what I'm saying, like, yo, you want a family, you want your family to be good, like you need enough money to support your family, you know what I'm saying, passive income, all that good stuff. That's what we need. That's what, like, my goal as this podcast and myself, to help people with our financial literacy, because then it helps us as a society, as a community. We live in a capitalist society, whether you like it or not, whether you're pro-capitalism, anti-capitalism. If you live in the United States, you live in a capitalist society. Right. If you got a passport, like if you're a citizen, you're a capitalist. That's it. Like, regardless, right? Anti-pro, whatever. So you're benefiting from the government
somehow. You might think you're not, but you're probably benefiting from the government somehow.
Right? So regardless how you feel. Obviously, we're not saying capitalism is great. Like, It obviously has its flaws and things like that. But if you're in the system and in the society, you have to survive and thrive. Like that's your goal. You gotta survive and thrive somehow. You gotta play the game. So if you want to do that, like you need ownership of land, of businesses, stocks, real estate. You need ownership of your own stuff. So you're not paying somebody else, right? You know, he's not going somewhere else. So that's where I see the future of our community. Once we, you know, getting like more financial literacy, not only just having it, passing it on, building group economics, doing all that good stuff. That's when you have true power and control. Because like, oh, someone tells you no, I bet I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna buy my own. I'm gonna figure it out myself, right? You don't have to wait on someone else's approval. You don't have to wait on the bank to say no, we can't give you a loan. You can be like, all right, the bank's not gonna give me a loan. Two of my buddies got bread. I got bread. Yo, let's go venture and do this together. Now we don't have to wait for the government or someone else to be like, yes, you can. No, bro, we can do it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I see.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Get me heated with that question. Go away. Get me heated.
Well, we had a quote 2 episodes ago with Raj. I think it was you cannot liberate unless you start from the bottom. Aisha K. Fines. Don't know how to say it properly, but yeah, I think financially is a big part of that. You can't liberate most when you say community, I'm assuming, you know, Black people, but you can't liberate most of us without, you know, empowering us with the tools we need to succeed financially. Because at the very end of the day, like you when you grow up in school, you hear, you know, go to school, get a degree, get a job. And then the narrative lately now, people's like, I want to be an entrepreneur, X, Y, and Z, all this other stuff. But honestly, I'm not saying that's bad, but people overlook the investing aspect as well. You know, you need to have, it sounds like a scam when someone says, oh, you Forex people, but it says, you know, multiple streams of income, right? But it's true. There's a lot of truth in that. So once you know, white people, Jewish people, all the people in Wall Street, you know, not only are they, like, you see a lot of other communities that include their own and, you know, put their own, you know, put them on and, you know, give them the family business or whatever, or look out for each other. I know Black people, that's not common. That's not a common thing, whether it be from outside or inside factors. But at least in this case, when you empower everyone financially, you at least know, hey, if this is a big part of why so-and-so is out doing, you know, whatever, because they don't have enough money to feed their family, or they want money, you know, here's, you know, the keys to do it legally, you know, do what the rich people, what other, you know, rich minorities and everybody else has been doing, you know, and Black people, once we get in on that as well, will we be, it's over. Nah, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be real, like, just get it together. I'm not saying, you know, fixing our pockets is the only way to solve everything. Definitely. But I think a lot of what we're seeing is, it's going to be a huge way to fix it.
And to be clear, like I know you mentioned, but to be clear for the listeners, it's not just having the money, because you could bless somebody with $1 million and that could put them in a worse situation. That's what the financial literacy comes on, because it's like, people, like, it's not wealth and riches don't lead to financial literacy. Financial literacy leads to wealth. You know what I'm saying? You can bless somebody with $1 million, with a 2 million. Look at rappers and people who win the lotto. They can be blessed with a bunch of money and it's still not help them. So it's not just like, yo, everybody needs to get, like, if every Black person has $1 million or set. That might actually be worse. You know what I'm saying? But you need to know how to get the money and what to do with the money when you have it. Managing money is harder than making money. So, so that's, I know you meant that, but like, that's to be clear for the listeners of, you know, that's
managing money is a lot harder than making it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who said it one time, but I remember it stuck with me. And they were like, well, if you broke when you ain't got no money, quote unquote, or got a little bit of money, then you gonna be broke when you got a whole bunch of money. Basically, you know, like you don't know what you're doing with a little bit of money. Why would you get a whole bunch of money? You ain't gonna know what you're doing with that either.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So that, I mean, again, this is why I have y'all up here, because this is just one part of healthy communities, healthy,
of course,
you know, all of that. Wonderful stuff. So but so let's talk about the other stuff though. Do y'all also stress the importance of all around health? Because like you said, we can, like, you can get money. You can even know how to manage your money. But if you are not mentally there, it's just not gonna work. If you're not spiritually grounded, it's not gonna work. If you don't know how to emotionally handle yourself in certain type of meetings, it's still not gonna work. So do y'all also stress the importance of the other aspects?
Of course, I don't know if you want to go on that first, but
Yeah, definitely. Health, physical, mental. I mean, for me personally, those are the two biggest: the physical, mental, emotional too, actually. But every day doing something that makes you feel health looks different for everybody. Me personally, I like to exercise and um start off my morning as early as possible. I like to exercise, stretch, do whatever it gets me on a roll. Just to keep negative thoughts out of my head. Um emotionally, if I'm down or whatever, I know a lot of people have their little habits or whatever, but communication it goes a very long way. You've just having someone not related to the problem, not part of the problem there in a healthy relationship to, I guess, be there and talk and listen and give advice when needed. Really honestly makes all the difference. It helps turn a bad day into a good day. Or my example is I have it was actually this week. I had a great morning and everything. I showered, exercised, did everything. I was feeling good, and then I got a call. The call, immediately flipped my mood 180. Right, I was in a bad mood, stressed out. I was annoyed. Happened to call up one of my friends, and for 2 minutes I just got it out real quick, talked, and they just listened. Then boom, right after I was feeling fine again. Perfect day. Nothing really got to me as much. So I think that makes all the difference. There's been time, I've had my experiences, where I've been down in a cloud for multiple days at a time. I'm not saying it's not the same as being lazy or wanting to be by yourself, but if when you're not the best of selves. So to turn around to what I do, if I continued with bad habits and let maybe my physical health get out of control, so if you feel sluggish throughout the day, if you live a sedentary lifestyle, you're not going to be as likely to go out and if you want to start a business or do something with your money. Actually, you're gonna be spending your money on food or whatever your bad habit is that you're trying to fill yourself up with, and two, you're all that stuff's not really, it's not going to be on the forefront of your mind. You're not going to get anything done productive. And then even emotionally, if you're sitting here bottling everything up and all you have are these negative influences, and you're by yourself, especially to yourself, social media, all that stuff, it's not really going to help you with anything. So I guess my biggest advice in that space is to take your happiness out of others' hands and find it in something you do daily. Take control of it yourself. Even if you have a pet, I have a cat. My cat doesn't like to cuddle all the time, doesn't like to, sleep and lay on me all the time. If there are times where I'll be feeling down, I'll look at my cat and I go to my cat and I feel better. But if I put my happiness, there are times like he'll make me feel better. And there are times like I want to cuddle him down and he's like not cuddling with me. If I put my happiness in my cat, I'm gonna be sad as heck. I'm gonna be sad 24/7. So you gotta, when that happens, you have to, it's annoying, but you take a deep breath, brush yourself off, and figure it out. You have to go forward.
Right.
It's not easy, but you have to do it. Yeah, it's doable.
For real, like Secret to Success podcast. It was talking about like the 3 F's would be like faith, fitness, and finances, right? And I think there are like a few more, but like those are like the core. Like obviously a faith that covers like spiritual and like mental, right? Making your head making sure your head is straight. Like you said, you could have all the money in the world, but like if your head's not there, you're either gonna blow it on stupid stuff or like you're still not gonna be happy regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have all the bread in the world and still be miserable. Like you said, we hear celebrities off themselves with millions and dollars all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So like faith, fitness, like you feel good, like you feel good, you look good, you know what I'm saying? Like you look good, you feel good, you know, same thing. So want to make sure like you got your mind straight. And also if you got all the money in the world, but you got diabetes, high blood pressure, all these bills, you know, that's gonna like, you know, you're not gonna be living to enjoy it. Like you're not even, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have all the money and not even live to enjoy it. And then obviously like, you know, finances, whatever after. So you know, we do cover like mindset, you know, on the podcast too, just like, you know, important. A lot of it's more focused towards like business mindset, but a lot of it just applies to life in general, you know, motivation, inspiration, where that comes from, you know, like consistency, drive, you know, a lot of those concepts and things like apply to not just money, but just your regular life, you know, consistency, working out. You know, we hold each other accountable for working out almost every day. You know, so it's like making sure, like, you know, it's not just money, but like make sure, you know, if you're getting fat, you know, let them know, like, boy, you gotta work out. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have to have all those areas. Obviously, in the mental, like you said, having someone to talk to, get good advice from, right? People to support you, tell you like when you're right, when you're wrong. You know, that having that support system, that's probably the word. Having that support system is important. People who can be honest with you, people who, you know, show you love, people who, you know, support you when you're doing well, you know, who correct the behavior if you're doing something not well, people who, you know, listen to your ideas, you know, and some people who just, you know, just gonna have a good time with. So like that's more important than the money aspect. You know, the money's probably the least important out of all of that. But you know, that's important for yourself too.
And for those people who like I don't know if anyone has any, if there's, you know, listening and saying, oh, but you're, you know, whatever, it's so easy. I just want you guys to know it's like it's not easy. You know, Bensky's, we're friends. He's seen me in this past year, he's seen me at my lowest and my highest. You know, he knows. And you know, same with him, you know, even not just within this past year, but within the years of our friendship, we've seen each other at our lows and highs, and we've both helped bring each other out of it. You know, Bensky, he always says this one thing: it's just try. You know, did you try? You know, a lot of people like to give up, and I'm like that too. I'm an introvert at heart. He's an extrovert. I'm an introvert at heart. I like to stay inside. I can. When the pandemic, you know, popped up, ain't shit changed for me, bro. Like I was chilling. So so I know what it's like to, you know, be a hermit, say to yourself, do nothing, right? So but you know, hanging out with Bensky, and you know, some days just, he always says just try. And I remember, I'll never forget, one day it finally clicked in my head, you know, it clicked. And now every time before I give up, it's like that those two words ring out of my head: just try. So it's not easy. I struggle. I'm human too. I work early, you know. People talk about work-life balance. What I do is like, no matter what my personality is, I'm going to put my I like comfort. There we go. I like comfort. I'm going to put my, you know, comfortability and my happiness first. So I think a lot of people need to put themselves first. And if you're going through anything, whatever it is you're going through, if you're mad, or, you know, I don't know, whatever it is, just put yourself first, and put the pettiness aside if that's also, you know, part of the issue. Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing. Thank you both for sharing that. And so I just wanted to touch on that because, like I said, you know, that's just one aspect. And, you know, one of the things you guys touched on is first of all, we're all human. Okay. And nobody is perfect. We all have things that we have to work through, whether you're introvert or extrovert, you tall, short, whatever. Okay. We all have things that we have to work through. And another thing that I want to highlight specifically on this podcast is take, like you said, putting yourself first and taking that time for yourself, because when you get into money and finance and working and all that, it's very easy to get into the mindset of like, oh, I just got to keep going. Like, yes, try, like keep trying, but also know when you need to rest, like know when you need to take a break, because it's also nothing wrong. Like, just again, balance. So sometimes you need to take a break, sometimes you need to push yourself harder, so yeah. Thank you guys again for sharing that. And I think just one more question. So if you guys could pick a favorite episode so far, what would it be?
Give me a second, y'all.
Okay.
Honestly, yo, it's probably gonna be the episodes we just did.
The two we did.
Yeah.
God,
we just did some episodes. They didn't drop yet.
Yeah.
They would be what, 76 and 75, 75 and 76?
75 and 76. 77 was when we did on Tuesday. So probably 75 and 76. They didn't drop yet. Those would probably be my two favorite episodes. I guess sneak peek, right? We were blessed to be international. So we were just in Paris with our boy from high school.
What's up? Come on now.
Right. So shout out to Raj, right? So he's a boy from high school. We did an episode with him, and it was one obviously international, so it's always dope to do an episode somewhere else. And he's our boy. It's always great to have conversation with like-minded people. It's always great to have conversations to talk about different cultures and talking about it was talking about different cultures, talking about differences, talking about learning new things. It was a little bit different than the finance episode. It was more of a conversation. But that would probably be one of my favorite episodes. But out of the 70 plus, like a lot of them are my favorite episodes. But I would say that unreleased joint was it was just like at a great time. It was a great time, great conversation, great day. So just like having a nice, and we had good food too. That was probably we had a
y'all was lucky having a mukbang.
Nah, we ate a little bit before. That's why. Before, and then we
and then y'all
and then we got an episode after. But that food was fire. So I think that's solidified. That was probably one of my favorite episodes.
Sheesh. I have to say then, That's annoying. I always update my favorite episodes, but I will say the one there were two that really stuck out to me, and it was Net Positive. We did again with our boy who's in one of our upcoming episodes, Raj. So he's coming up there twice. And I just had it right here. Hold on. Oh, we did an episode about transcendence with our my mutual friend Sosa. Yeah. So I really like that episode. He does he's at the time he was developing it's like new psychology.
He was like, kind of like a psychology. He was developing a psychology theory. He does like online psychotherapy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So that was like early on.
Early on. Yeah, I like that episode a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely
not to say every other guest wasn't good.
Yeah.
No, no. I mean, look, you can have your opinion, okay? But yeah, so like I said, I'm definitely going to go back to y'all episodes and check it out, because I already know I'm gonna learn some stuff that I need to use. We all can use it, because again, we live in this world. Unless you want to go somewhere else, which you have the option to, but as long as you're living in this world, we need money, or in this society, we need money. So thank you guys for coming. And do you guys have any last words? Share also with your last words, share all your information, all that good stuff.
Thank you for having us. This is a great conversation. Bensky is the socials guy, because I can't seem to remember them, so I'll let him handle it.
Word.
Okay.
Again, yeah, thank you for having us. It was a really dope conversation. It's always dope to be on other people's podcasts, right? Socials, Instagram at Everybody Eats Show. Follow us on Instagram. YouTube, Everybody Eats Show. You can find us wherever podcasts are: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Everybody Eats Show. Twitter, that's EBE_show on Twitter, and like Everybody Eats Show on TikTok.
See how he just says it so effortlessly without even blinking. He even looking for his phone, bro.
When you got to do all the socials, right? But yeah, yo, that's pretty much where you can find us. Yo, again, thank you very much for having us. Much appreciated.
Yes, thank you guys for coming up here. All right, y'all. And I hope that y'all got some good info. Y'all go ahead, like I said, go ahead and check them out after you finish this up. And then, yeah, please remember that your refuge is in your self-healing. So heal yourself to find your refuge. Okay? Peace.